Evolution, I've come to find, is a natural fact. Everything in life evolves. This world has evolved, and again, this idea, evolution has to do with change, which is a natural process in life. Everything in life changes, everything in life evolves. Even if you believe that God has created the world in 6 days, 7 days, which I always thought was somehow ridiculous. The idea of evolution to me is it's a very powerful idea that in a way goes beyond the if you believe in creation or evolution. Because even if the world was created in a week, we still have evolved, we still have gone through the process of human development, through the various changes, the various periods of human development. And so we ourselves have evolved, going through our own development. Everything in life evolves. Every animal, every form, every plant evolves. But for us human beings, I've come to find the interesting thing is that evolution, what directs that process? And that's also a question I would like to ask you. What directs the process of evolution? And just to share with you my answer briefly, is for us human beings, what directs that process is learning. What we learn directs the process of our own evolution. We change as a result of what we learn. And of course that is different from person to person, so I just can share with you my own experiences. So what I have learned as soon as I came into this world, that life was all about doing what I was supposed to do, which I hated. And that was the reason for why I became a rebel. Yes, again, it's these personal lessons we gain. These lessons on a deep emotional, spiritual, intellectual level that direct that process of our own evolution. If you become an angry person, it's because this is how we experience the world. And this is what we learn. If you become depressed, this is what we experience. And I also talking about the idea of mental illness, which I've come to find is not a chemical imbalance. I mean, yes, of course, there are factors which direct how we feel, and that has to do with the chemicals in our brain. But the question is, how do those chemicals come to be the way they do? Ultimately, it's all about our experiences and what we learn on a deep personal level that get us to feel, to think a certain way, and these thoughts control how we act in this world, how we feel about ourselves, what we think about, what we look at, which ultimately creates our reality. And that really directs the process of our own evolution. It's really fascinating to me how that works. That's why when I bring people together and try to get others to talk about their own learning experiences, once you really become aware of that, what you have learned, become aware of your own experiences and how they have impacted on you, then you can learn to give that process direction by thinking about, okay, I want to relearn, I want to unlearn. My experiences are my experiences, they're subjective. Of course, they have become part of my reality, but there's a reality beyond that. Just because, for example, I've been hurt as a child, or I was made fun of at school, this is not what life is all about. This is not what life is. This is just my personal experience. But because I'm going by myself through somewhere in a dark place of town that I got mugged, and because of that I become very, very afraid. This is just one experience out of countless others. And of course to us this is very, very real. This is how we look at the world then. But it's just one of the many. And so really to give that process direction, what is required, what is needed, is consciousness. Is to really become aware of it, what it is we have learned, how we have evolved, in order to then give that process direction. And how to do that is what I am trying to inspire in the awareness of. But to really become aware, to think about, okay, let's take a second here. Let's not only think about, the things that I've learned in learning, book learning. We are so much focused on that, in academic achievement. But what have I learned on a deep personal level? How have I experienced life? How do I look at myself? And is that based upon what's real? I mean, it's real to me, of course. Everything that you have learned is real to you. But then also it is important to inquire into the greater reality of life, into the nature of life, in order to then really direct that process. And I think we need that in this world, because many people are stuck because of bad experiences, and they don't know how to move beyond those. I mean, I can relate, because I'm to a certain degree am stuck, and I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to move on and really embrace life, embrace myself, and through this embrace other people more fully. But in order to do that, I really need to become aware of what it is I've learned, and so I'm sharing this here. And also hopefully again inspire you in that awareness to really begin on this process.